Can you tell me a bit about your sales training experience previously? What was it like? Describe it to us.
I'd had none since it was a little bit probably 25 years ago, but, I had no idea where I was going with it.
Yeah. So when we got together, you and the team in Armadale, and we started training, working together, what sort of started to land for you? I mean, what were you expecting? Maybe we start there.
We were really floundering with knowing where to go with our sales. Yeah, how should we approach customers? We we're dealing direct with customers. We're not using reseller channels, and we were really floundering. We didn't know uh, what approach, how hard to push with them, what angles to use. And so we're really looking for some guidance and some frameworks to work with. And that's why we reached out and that kicked off the process.
Brilliant. So when we then got together and started working together, what started to land for you? What started to make sense? I probably challenged you on a few things, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did. The one that really resonated and fitted with our culture was educating to sell. Uh, Well,
Yeah, no, I call
how
it.
do you how do you frame it?
It's all good. I call it those that out teach, outsell.
Yeah, the out-teach to out-sell stuff really resonated with us, it's particularly because it fit our culture. It wasn't high. What we didn't wanna do was land somewhere where it was a high-pressure sales, sell environment. So the out-teach to out-sell fitted with our culture, but it also fitted with our product because it was a new product that
Mm.
needed that educational aspect.
And so then, in terms of like teaching yourself to sell, the art of the conversation. What about those questions I started teaching you? How we actually get people to sell it to themselves as opposed to you being that hardcore pushy, which doesn't work for you, doesn't work for your team, your culture, certainly doesn't work for farmers. What did the team find when they started using those tools and having those conversations with farmers where they drop that sort of sales hat off?
Oh, it was just fascinating to watch because they enjoyed they enjoyed it. It turned the selling from being something confronting for them to something that they were able to engage and embrace. And watching them enjoy that transition was really heartwarming.
So they started to enjoy the conversations more. They didn't have the sort of hang ups and bang ups, so the connotations of being salesy and all those sort of things. They sort of, as you listen to the calls, you could see them going deeper into the conversation with the farmers. Is that what you saw, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw them enjoying the conversations more
Mm,
and not feeling pressured by the outcome of the conversations and being able to have the conversations knowing that this conversation was just part of a bigger process, this conversation didn't have to result in a deal being ticked off in a CRM.
100%. Because I think what you guys got was if you detach yourself from the outcome and just focus on the process of helping the buyer make a good decision, the sale kind of looks after itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And just the assurance all the guys had that you can have the conversation as part of a process. It doesn't matter if it doesn't lead to the outcome today that you want, because that outcome it's just a part of the process of getting that outcome to happen, and it'll happen.
Yeah, 100%. Because we kind of play the long game to play the long game. As you know, as a farmer yourself, you and Jackie and your farming interests, farmers don't want to be sold to. They want to make really good decisions. And so I think your team picked that really well. The more they have a conversation where they qualify and clarify for that customer, that farming client, the more they can make a better decision, whether it's now or later on. And most important, I think your team picked up on the importance of detachment and detaching from the sale, because that's when we get needy and desperate and all those yucky things that we don't.
Yeah, and also it fits with that farmer. Yeah, that it's not just should I buy this piece of equipment. It's should I buy this versus buying fertilizer, buying some more stock, doing some fences up. There's a million things that need doing on a farm. So it's accepting that the decision. Yeah, the farmer's got to go through the process of justifying this purchase against all those other things, and just providing and that doesn't happen straight away. Farming's not a business where everything's all the spending's done today, and anything new just gets weighed up in terms of return on its investment. It's versus a whole lot of other things that have all got a return on investment.
Yeah, well said. I think a lot of traditional sales training doesn't understand that farming mentality and that psyche or that nuance, and instead they're like, "Oh, do we take Visa or Mastercard? Which one?" You know, it's like, nah, that doesn't work, right? And you know that. So, what in terms of don't disclose things that you're not commercially want to, but did you start to see some good outcomes from the team post training? Did you start to see conversions, pickups, conversations go longer, go deeper? What were the what were the changes that you started to see? What are the outcomes that you started to see?
I reckon the main outcome that we started to see was because we've been in a funny, in a weird world with a grant program, so it's been hard to measure success in that context. But what we've seen is a real focus on the team of the pipelines. So we set up in the CRM, we set up our pipelines along the basis that we've been talking. So there's a real focus that, yeah, this isn't just a dead pipeline of people we spoke to. This is a pipeline of future business that is coming our way, and we just keep nurturing it.
Yeah, 100%. And again, a lot of people don't understand the fortunes in the follow up, and that sounds very cliched, but like, you know, it's not one interaction, it's two, it's three, it's four, and it's about persistence, not insistence. And then your team being purposeful, if I can pronounce that word, around how they follow up. So, last question, Bill. If you were talking to peers, obviously very grateful for all the work you passed our way and the kind words you've said to others, particularly in the agri-tech space. But if you were talking to your peers, agri-tech or otherwise, or Australian ag or wherever, and whoever's listened to this, what would you say to them? How would you describe the training and the experience of kind of working with us?
But I would say that to get a successful ag tech business off the ground, sales is the number one thing you've got to do. You've got to be able to sell your product, and knowing how to sell is essential. And we knew we had to be salesmen, but we didn't know how to sell. We didn't want to be salesmen, particularly because we thought that came with a whole lot of bad connotations. But we knew we had to be, but we weren't doing it properly. So I think it's a critical piece of the puzzle is getting this sort of training under your belt.
Yeah. And how would you describe it to them in terms of, I mean, how would you describe that our training might be a bit different to what maybe people think sales training is?
I think it teaches you to sell without being a salesman.
Yeah, because the problem with sales is selling, isn't it? As you well know, and when we talk to you and Max and the team, is the more we try to sell, the less we will sell, but the more we sell, the more we sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a I think if you it's the key difference about how to go about sales the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better. It's about the mindset and the intent that you take. You know, that farmer or that customer, whether you're selling for a rural reseller or retailer or direct to farmers in your case, or not through dealers, you know, we need to really understand and help that buyer make a good, accurate, informed decision. And that's our role as sales professionals. And reps they're just interesting selling. So, Bill, I appreciate you saying kind words to us and the agritech community in Aussie. We're very, very, very grateful for that, and we appreciate the work that you put our way. And hopefully, look forward to doing some more work with your team as you grow and grow.
Good on you, Sinjit.